Good morning, everyone. I'll just give a couple of minutes to see if other people are just running a couple of minutes late, and then we'll get started. I can see some familiar faces there. Good morning. Some people over east, which is wonderful, and local people as well. So thank you for joining me. I'm excited about today. Very excited. So it's 9:01, so I think we'll get started. So I'll share my screen in a second, but I'm just going to let everyone know if we're going to have some questions and some interaction, just write in the chat box. But if you've got any technical challenges, if you can put your question in the Q&A, and Renee will answer that for you. So I'm going to share my screen, and if you're familiar with webinars, and you want to see my face talking as well, it might be worth splitting your screen so that you can actually get to see both. So you can see the slides and you can see me. So I'll start my webinar, I'll start my slides, and I will share my screen. I will start from the beginning, and I will share my screen with you here, and hopefully we will. Okay, so first of all, can everyone see my screen? Can you give me a thumbs up or a hands up if you can see my screen? Yep, have we got people who can see my screen? Yep, fantastic. Okay, so today what we're doing is we're finding out what's the magic behind why some people's goals and some people's plans actually work and why other people's don't. So that's the theory behind today, is sharing some magic behind how successful people have achieved their goals and their plans and smashed them, and what's the magic behind why some people's work and why other people's don't work. So those of you that are on here, congratulations for taking the time to actually focus on you, because you are really the most important person in your life. Without you, there's nothing. So I really congratulate you for taking the time to recalibrate, to reassess, and really just have a look at where you are and what's working and what's not working. This is actually a working webinar. This is not one of those webinars that you learn lots of things and then you never implement them and you forget about it. My goal today is for you to actually do some work on yourself and focus on what needs to change to create a better path to a more successful life. So that's my goal today. So I will tell you a bit about me for those of you who don't know me. So who am I? I'm no different to you. I'm just a normal human being. I've learnt my lesson through the hard way. I have failed in pretty much all aspects of life. I used to find it terribly difficult to get out of bed. I dreamt of being a morning person. I had a business. I've started a couple of businesses, or through a few businesses. My first two, I just winged it. That's what I did. I'd wake up and wing it and put out bushfires. I used to be quite unhealthy and lacking energy. And over the years, now I'm in my mid-50s, I've learned through trial and error some of the recipes that work for me and some that don't work. So what I'm going to do today is share with you as much as I can over the next hour in helping you get clear on what is that recipe for you for success. What do you need to change to create the life of your dreams or the business of your dreams? So to those of you that don't know me, I published my book last year. I'm a business coach for over a decade. I specialise in business planning. I do a bit of motivational speaking. I've had 20 years of sporting fun, represented Australia a few times, and have been happily married to my husband for over 35 years, who's also the star of my book. So for those of you that don't know me, that's a bit of a snapshot. So where does it all start? How does success happen for some people? What's that magic pill, or what's the magic sauce? And I always go back to the start. That's your mind. What is your mindset like Do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Now, if you've not read Carol Dweck's book, The New Psychology to Success, I really urge you, if you have a mindset challenge, I urge you to read this book. Because when we talk about this model that Carol Dweck talks about in her book, it's about a fixed or a growth mindset. So I want you to just have a look at this and have a look, where is your mind set? What's your set point of your mind? Where is it at? Having a look here, do you avoid challenges or do you face them head on? Do you stay away from things that are challenging? Or do you look at them and go, yes, I can do this. I can push through this. Now, that little negative Nelly inside our head, that's not us. That's just that voice that we all have in our head. We don't need to listen to it, and it's not us. And you can choose your thoughts. So all success starts in our mind. And if we start with actually listening to our mind and saying, where is my mindset at? Have a look at it now. And by the way, I forgot to mention, if you don't have a pen and paper, please get a pen and paper now. And as I said, this is about you. This is about working on you, not listening to me, not learning. This is about working on you. So have a pen and paper. I'm going to get Renee to put in the chat 2 documents that we're going to be working on. So you can download them, you can print them, but we will be working on them, on you. So looking at this, I'd like you to just think, are your thoughts, are they fixed or are they growth? So have a little bit of a think about this, and I want people to be honest and put a note in the chat whether they feel they could improve their mindset, because if all success starts in the mind, whether it's business, whether it's relationship, whether it's fitness, whether it's sporting endeavors, it's got to start in the mind first. Now, many years ago, I would wake up in the morning and go, oh, I can't get up. I can't get up. Oh, there's too many competitors in business. Oh, it'll never work. But that doesn't serve anybody. And that question that, my husband asked in a yoga class many years ago, listen to your thoughts and say, does that thought serve you or not? And I hear that line ring in my head many, many times. If I have a negative thought, I hear him saying, does that thought serve you? And I think it's very relevant with the growth or the fixed mindset. So if you happen to have a fixed mindset, and it could be that's just the way that you've been brought up. And they've done studies on children to see whether they've been brought up with a fixed or a growth mindset. Are they taught to challenge things they can't do, to look at overcoming them and not see failure as failure, see failure as great, it's a learning experience. So I really want you to be honest and think, okay, where is my head at? And is this where I need to start? Because if you've not got a growth mindset, this is where I recommend that you need to start, is having a look at that mindset and saying, okay, what can I do to change that? Well, read Carol Dweck's book. It's amazing. It will help you understand. So we've talked about mindset. So now we want to look at saying, okay, so if all of our goals and dreams start in our mind, how clear are you on your dreams? How clear are you on your vision of success? Now, that might be success for your business. It might be success for your relationship. It might be success for your personal endeavors, your fitness, your health. How clear is it? If you had to score yourself out of 10, what would you give it? Would you give it a 10? Are you really clear on what success looks like? And this is a formula of success that works so well. So if you want to write it down or take a screenshot, take it. This will help dramatically with anything you would like to achieve in life. How clear is it? And then we look at our goals. If we give ourselves a score out of 10, how clear am I with my goals? Are they very clear? And have I written a plan, whether it's a business plan, whether it's a fitness plan, whether it's a renovate house plan, whatever it is? How clear is that plan? How detailed? As a business coach, I spend 2 days working with business owners, creating a detailed business plan of what success looks like, down to the dollar. And they end up with a 50, 60-page plan. So it's very detailed. If I'm training for an event, I have a very detailed 3-4 months training plan to get my fitness level up to the level it needs to be at. So how detailed is the plan for whatever it is you'd like to succeed on? And then there's always a learning element. And I think this is one of the secret little nuances that people often forget about. If you're wanting to achieve greater success in something, are you learning in that specific field? Is that where your learning is? Because if you're wanting to get better at marketing your business, if you're wanting to get better with managing and motivating teams, if you're wanting to increase your energy and fitness, whatever it is in life that you're wanting to improve on, that needs to be aligned with your learning. And I love someone many years ago said to me that tiny little trick, the L plates to earning is learning. You know, the L and learning, the L plates to learning is earning. The L plates to learning is earning. I've got that the wrong way. Anyway, you get what I mean. So if you're wanting to earn more energy, if you're wanting to earn more respect, if you're wanting to earn more leads for marketing, if you're wanting to earn more money in your business, you need to be learning more about that particular area. So in relation to this, have you got specific clarity on where you need to be learning? And then coming down from that, are your actions aligned with that? So if you had to score yourself out of 10, are those actions aligned with where you want to go in your business, in your life, with your team, with your engagement, whatever it is? So the higher you are in this formula, the higher your chances of success are actually going to be. And so you will achieve far greater results if you just look at saying, okay, I'm going to up my score by 1 through each single one of these. So time to do some work, time to have some fun. So I hope you've all got the documents Renee put in the chat for you. So you can, if you've got OneNote like me, you can put it in them and use your pen to draw, or you can print it, or it doesn't make any difference if you just get a blank piece of paper and get a pen and write on it. So we have got 2 circles here. Now, one of these is going to draw your attention more than another one. So if you ask yourself, okay, do I need to work on my wheel of business or my wheel of life right now, this minute? You'll know the answer, and you can play with this anytime. I've used these for over a decade. So the first thing when we're wanting to achieve success in any endeavor is to take stock and see, where are you actually now? Where are you now? If you're going to catch an Uber or catch an Ola or a DD or Dodo or whatever they call it, what happens? You cannot get someone to pick you up. You cannot go to a destination unless you put your current location. It's impossible. It's not possible. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to say, where actually are you? Where are you at with your wheel? So I want everyone to choose whether it's business or whether it's life. And then look at each one of these areas. So say we're going to do business. We're going to score ourselves between 1 and 10, 1 being very, very low, 1 out of 10, and 10 being 10 out of 10. You're Richard Branson, you have aced it. You've got that totally nailed. So strategic planning, if you score yourself from 1 out of 10, how good are you with strategic planning? My recommendation is 1 full day a month to be strategic planning your business and taking stock of where you are now, what needs to change, and are your strategies working? And if you're looking at annually, at least 2 days. But how good are you at strategic planning? Does everybody know what part of that plan they are accountable for, how it's being measured, etc.? Is it visible? Coming on to budgeting, do you have a budget to actual? Do you have a cash flow projection? Do you look at your balance sheet and budget in relation to cash flow every month? And are you basically tracking the success of your business, the health of the actual finances of your business? And then again, coming down to sales, looking at saying, okay, 0 to 10, how good are we at sales? Do we have our sales journey documented? Do we have scripts if it's necessary in our business? Do we have timing around it? So you get what I mean. So I want everyone to go around and give themselves a score in each one of these areas. The life one, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure you can all work that out. So what you will see is you will see lots of dots and lots of numbers. And so then we've got some fun. You get to join the dots and say, what does your wheel look like? Where are you out of balance? What is the area that has the biggest opportunity for you? So now we've plotted where you're at. The next thing is to look at saying, okay, what is one goal I would like to achieve in each one of these areas? What's that vision of success in each one of these areas? Now, you might not be able to do this now because we know we've only got 1 hour, but I would like you to pick a few. I reckon at least 3 or 4 if you can. If you can do the whole lot, that would be wonderful. So here we've got examples of goals. This one here is the personal wheel of life. In the business one, it might be create the detailed business plan for the new 2022 calendar year. It might be to generate more leads and have a marketing engine working for you. It might be to increase the retention of your team or increase the conversion rate of your sales. So think of what success in each one of those areas looks like for you. In the personal one, I've put some examples there. They may be relevant to you or they might not be. One of mine, when I did my wheel, our team we do our wheel of life and business regularly, but we do our life every quarter or every 6 months. And I reckon for about 5 years in a row, I had published my book, published my book, published my book. So sometimes life has a way of having its own timing. So please don't be harsh if you've got something that you've been wanting to achieve for a long time and you haven't achieved it yet. It just means that you haven't learned enough about it yet or learned enough about you. And that it's time to say, okay, what do I need to change to actually get success? What I did differently was that I actually ended up getting a coach to help me with the book. And that got huge amount of momentum. So who do you need to call in to help you with some of your goals or some of your visions of success that maybe have been lagging, that have been gnawing for years? Why haven't I got this worked out yet? Why haven't I got it worked out yet? So really, and again, this goes back to your mindset. What is success for you? What does success look like in your business and in your life? Now, I was very, very fortunate to have gone and been a live participant in Zig Ziglar's seminar in Melbourne. So have many people, I'm not sure if you can put in the chat if you've heard of Zig Ziglar. Has anyone heard of Zig Ziglar? Please give me a yes or a no to Zig Ziglar. Has anyone heard or seen of Zig Ziglar? Yep, we've got a few yeses and nos. Well, he was an amazing, inspirational leader. And luckily I went to his live seminar many years ago in Melbourne. I was in my teens. My husband and I just got engaged and he did something similar to this, but we had to write our life plan. And he said, dream your wildest dreams. And I want you, someone saw him in Perth, awesome. I didn't know he came here. So dream your wildest dreams. And so we wrote down that we wanted to get married and we wanted to have children, we wanted to start a business. And then he's like, dream harder. I'm like, oh gosh, maybe run a marathon. No, dream harder. Backpack the world, get an antique motorbike, help a charity, and he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then we had to put some timing on it. We had to put, that's 10 years, that's 20 years, that's 5 years, that's 1 year. So we had this massive list. It was a day's workshop. And, you know, it was a fun, amazing experience. And we sort of thought, yeah, nothing will happen to this. It's pretty fun and pretty weird and dreamy. But I was lucky. And he was talking about all facets of life. So we had this list. So the point here is he was making our subconscious mind get very clear of what is success for you in all facets of your life and relationships. And I was lucky to have had someone made me aware of that and plant those subconscious seeds when I was very young in life. And as I said, I was only in my teens, we were just engaged. So the point is, when we look at this, if you want different results, you've got to do something different. That old saying, what got you here won't get you there. It's so, so true. If there's something that's going on in your life or your business and it's being this repetitive merry-go-round thing that's happening, if you want to change it, you've got to be the person that changes. It's got to change in your mind first, then it's got to change through your actions, and the rest is, and your learning, it's got to happen. You've got to follow through. So when we look at this, we're saying, you know, are we proactively planning for success? Every day when you wake up and you go into your business or you go into your job or you start your day, is it proactive? Are you planning what you want to achieve? Or is it all about all the bushfires you've got to put out, or all the problems that people are putting at you, and it's like going into battle? So when we want to have success, it needs to be proactively planned by you. Otherwise, your whole life is pushed by what everyone else wants, and it's by everyone's problems. And so, you know, sometimes people say, you know, they have a business so that they can have freedom and they can have a life. But often I see people that they actually are shackled to their business and it takes a life away from them. I met someone recently and he was talking about, you know, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and not getting home till 7 at night. That's not a life. That's not proactively planning for success. That's letting the business, you know, run him like a slave. So when we look at this, we're saying, you know, are we being led by our dreams, not pushed by our problems? What is it that's pushing us, you know, through our day and helping us in our direction? Is it our problems or is it our dreams? So are we looking at our day and saying, okay, how can I get one step closer to what I want to achieve? And let's have a look at my plan. How's that going? Now, some of you might have heard some of this story before, and, you know, this is basically the theme of my book. And it's really what's led me to be really motivated about helping people to change their life and to change their business. When my husband and I just recently bought our first house, I was only, 22. We had a tragic accident. My husband had a can of petrol blow up in his face, and he was caught totally on fire. Our house was on fire. It was the most horrific thing you've ever seen. I woke up to my husband on fire. Everything was melting. It was absolutely disgusting, and it was just the worst smell, the worst scene, the worst sound I've ever seen in my life. Somebody standing there screaming, the man I love, in our first house with everything melting off him. And I won't go into much detail because we don't have much time and I don't want to make you feel sick. But this is really important because this is what drives me. So luckily I saved his life, got him in our swimming pool, and we got an ambulance and the house was saved, and we're still here now and we're still happily married. But the point in sharing this, and it's such a powerful point, is on day 3, I'm standing next to him. He looked like we're in ICU. They didn't give him much chance to live. His head looked like a medicine ball. He didn't look like a human. It was so swollen and black and charred and oozing and disgusting. He died and everything stopped and there was nothing. And it seemed like forever for me, but it was probably only 30 seconds. And he came back eventually. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but they confirmed that he actually died at that time. Now, weeks later, after he came out of his coma and came out of ICU, I talked to him and he said, you know, I had this weirdest dream and it must have been the drugs. And I talked through it, what happened. And he said, I was lying in this glass room, which his eyes had never been open because they were burnt, charred black. I'm lying in this glass room, and you were next to me, and he gave full description of the ICU room, and he said, I stopped. Everything died. I stopped. And I said, okay, what happened? He goes, I saw my body, and I looked at you, and I looked at the love, and I kept seeing that list. I kept seeing all our dreams, all our goals, all our plans, and that damn list that Zig Ziglar made us do. And he was like, I knew it was going to be really hard, but I couldn't leave you because we'd just started our journey and we'd committed to it, and we'd only just started. And the thing is, he's telling me about this dream, and I said to him, that wasn't a dream, that happened. I was there next to you. And this is from a super atheist. And so this has been driving me for the last 30 odd years to help people get very clear of what success looks like for them. It can be so powerful. Now, I don't know if we hadn't have had our dreams and plans laid out for the next 30, 40, 50 years, would he have given up? I don't know. He may have just given up. Now, we got involved with the burn support group, and a lot of them did give up, and he was right on the cusp of, they didn't think he was going to leave. He was over 30% of third-degree burns of his whole body. So for me, there's this powerful yearning and driving inside me to help people get really clear of what is success for them, what's their vision of success in all facets of their life. So that when the time gets really tough, like we all go through challenges, we all lose parents, we all get illnesses, COVID, all kinds of things happen, that we can really, you know, knuckle down and work, okay, what do we have to do to get through this? Because we're very clear of where we're going. And back to that analogy of the Uber or you know, driver, you know, if we're here in this destination and we want to get to this destination and there's roadblocks, he's got to go around them. Yes, the time we get there might be a bit later, the same as all our goals and dreams, but we'll still work out a way of how to get there if we're clear what the destination is. And that's the same with our life. Right? We only have one precious life. Why not make it as amazing as possible? Why settle for anything less? So for us, this is really powerful stuff. The clearer we can be, the easier it is for us to just go out there and implement it. So, you know, looking at something that is pretty simple for any of us to understand, we wouldn't build a house without a plan. None of us would. It would fall down. There's no reason. So why would it be any different about a life, about your life? Why would it be any different about a business, your business? You wouldn't trust a surgeon to operate on your knee if he was just winging it. Well, why stand for second best for your business or for your life? Why not plan what success looks like? And yes, it's always a working plan till the day we die or the day we sell our business. But we should be working on that plan, constantly seeing how can we improve it, how can we learn, how can we do better than before. So, you know, the funny thing is, we wouldn't build a house without a plan because it holds us up and it protects us, yet people run a business and a life without a plan, and yet as a mother, my children couldn't do without me. And as a business owner, the business is nothing without the business owner. So why do we not plan for success in those areas? It's there for all of us to do. So when we're looking at saying, what does success look like? The next step down from that is, what are some specific goals in each one of the areas that you would like to achieve? Now, making sure that they're very specific, and people have long-term, short-term goals, but we need to be able to measure what is success. And it needs to be something that is actually attainable for you. It is within your realms, and it is realistic and has a time. There needs to always be a time. So just to repeat where I've come from, because I really want you to stay with me. So the first step when we're looking at success is your mind. You've got to get very clear on what success is for you and have a growth mindset. The next step down is to very, very clear vision of what success looks like. As much clarity as possible in all facets of your life. Then the next step down from that is, what are some specific goals? So if we're looking at my fitness, I had a lady in a workshop recently and she said, I've never ever had any fitness goals. And she said, I'd like to do a 5K run. I've never been able to do that. And I said, well, why not? I'm going to be doing Rottnest, the half marathon in 3 months. Join me. What did she do? She did. And she came up to me at Rottnest and she was like, Suze, I'm here. I've done the 5Ks. I'm so excited I set that goal. I would have never done it if you hadn't have said that. So what's some specific goals for you around your life, your fitness, your relationships, your business that you need to set, that you can say, yeah, this is specific. We're going to do this. So I've got a little one-page plan here to help you get started. So I've put this as simple as possible, this plan, so that if you've never done any planning, just start with this. This is a great place to start. So I've got one goal here. So if we look at Stephen Covey's book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, he talks about what is the one goal that you want to achieve. The one that trumps all. So I would recommend have a one-page plan for your business if you've never done any business planning, or have a one-page plan for your personal life, the rest of your life. So what is the one goal that you would like to achieve in, say, a year's time? Is it a turnover goal? Is it potentially a retention of team? A lot of people are finding it challenging with teams at the moment. Is it retaining these people that you've got, not wanting them to be poached by anyone else? Is it a 90% retention rate of your team that you've got, creating that culture that people want to stay there? So what is that one goal that is going to tell you you've achieved that vision of success? So is that vision of success you being able to pick up the kids from school? Is it you being able to do a 5K run? What is it? And then when we come down from that, we're wanting to say, what's the learning involved in that? What book do you have to learn? Or audio books, if you're not interested in reading books. I find paper books, I fall asleep. Most of the books I listen to are on audio books when I'm driving or walking. Or might be YouTubes. It might be podcasts. What's the learning that you need to do that's going to help you achieve that goal? And is there a reward? I think rewards are so important. It might be that you take yourself out to dinner. It might be that you buy yourself a new pair of shoes. I've rewarded myself in a handbag because I went paperless. So what's a reward that's going to really motivate you? It might be a weekend away. It's important to have rewards. And then coming down from that, we need to say, well, what are the actual strategies in each one of these areas? So if we're looking at business, it might be, around the marketing. What's the strategy? It might be that you're going to do a marketing audit and have a look, where are your leads coming from, and what is your position? How do people see your company? Is your branding synchronized across all mediums? So it might be around sales. The goal might be to increase our sales. The strategy might be, let's start to measure our conversion rate. Now, the thing here is, as you see here, I've put, what's the date you want to achieve this by? It's important to have a date that you really want to achieve something by. Coming down from that, it might be around financials. Financial literacy, I think, is probably one of the areas where a lot of business owners hide because they're scared of it. So getting a budget to actual and start to track it, because then we know that if we're behind our budget or above budget, it gives us clues of where we need to work. Xero has fabulous budget facilities, so does Mile. So having a learning around financials, if that is a bit scary if you put your head in the sand about it. I did a webinar on financial literacy, happy to share it. So if there's anyone that has a challenge there, I'm happy to share that. So what are the goals in these areas, and what are the strategies that will get you one step closer to actually achieving it? And I don't expect everyone to do all of this now, but I want everyone to do at least one. I want you to work on you. Pick one, whether it's your personal fitness, your personal relationships, whether it's your business, whether it's your business department, if you're part of a department in a business. I want you to work on you. So coming down from that, what are the actions? What are the actions that you're going to do? And you can tick, you can write the actions, and this is really between now and the end of the next quarter, so that you can get over that Christmas period. So what are the actions that you're going to do that will be done on this month, that month, this month? Now, I would definitely not suggest try and do everything in the next month. That's not possible. But be accountable to doing some things, and making sure that you choose, okay, what's going to give me the best bang for my buck? When should I be working on this? When should I be working on this? And then the last thing is accountability. Accountability is so valuable. Now, whether it's a person that's your friend, whether you do this and send it to me, I'm more than happy for you to do that. More than happy for you to send it to me, just so that I can be the accountability buddy, or the person who you know is going to have a look at it. So it might be your husband, it might be your co-worker. For me, if I'm going to be doing something that's really important to me, I will always make sure I share it with somebody, so that I have that confirmation that somebody else knows about it, and that I have that natural accountability. And studies have shown, if you write down goals, if you put actions down, if you break it down into steps, and if you have somebody that you share it with and are accountable to that date, your chances of success are way higher. They've done so many studies on it. Your chances of success, I think there's something like 76% higher chance of success if you go through that process. So do yourself a favor and pick somebody. I mean, for me, my training, I would always put it on the fridge when the kids were at home, so that the kids knew if I was sleeping in or if I was not getting up for a run, like I said I would. So having that element of accountability means that people will hold you to what you want to do. So once you finish this, now I don't expect you to finish it now, but I really want you to start putting some out, putting some details down, writing some things down. What's some big, hairy, audacious goals that people would like to share in the chat box? I've got the chat box here. What's one goal? It might be a fitness one, it might be a business one, it might be a turnover one. If people can just pop their goal down and share it, if they feel like sharing it, it might be like the lady in the workshop I did that wanted to do a 5K run. Please, by putting down your goal in the chat box, just by typing it, it's going to help you to achieve it, because you've actually physically typed it, and you've actually been aware that I or somebody else has seen it. So I would love some people to put some goals, just one-word goal, two-word goals of success, of what you would like to achieve. Clear the debt. Yep, 70K, absolutely brilliant. Love it. Absolutely love it. Career growth, fabulous. Love it. So, yep, 3 new clients, fabulous. So we're getting some really good goals here. So just by writing them down, it's made a huge difference. So when we're looking at achieving these goals, we've just done a very simple one-page plan here. So this is the start. Then we need to create your dashboard of success. So what is that dashboard of success that you need to measure? So Xero has a wonderful dashboard. You can create it and make it your own. So it might be your fitness Garmin. It might be looking at your Google Analytics on your business. What is that dashboard of success of you achieving that vision and that goal that you would like to achieve. Make sure if something's important, you have a dashboard to actually track how you're going. Someone else just put a goal there, make your business full-time. Awesome goal, absolutely fabulous. So what dashboard are you going to create so that you can actually track and see how you're going to success? How is that actually tracking? And a lot of apps today are fabulous with having facilities to have them on your phone. I mean, there's a lot of tracking programs like SimPro, like BuildWise, things like this, or Xero, or Trello. There's a lot of, or as I said, Garmin. There's so many things that you can have a really simple dashboard to track how you're going. That could be on the phone or on your computer. So then we need to be making sure that there is actually an action plan. So we've got a very simple one-page plan that we've done now to get some clarity on where you're actually wanting to go and what you want to achieve. Now, that might be all you need to get you started. But if we've got a very detailed plan, or if we've got quite a large business, or if we've got some huge goals, we need to have an action plan of who is going to be doing what and when, and really importantly, why. Because I've had people, you know, say with a team, say, okay, I want you to start to ask, you know, everybody where they heard about us. Oh gosh, why do I have to ask that? It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Why do I have to do that all the time? Oh, I forgot. Well, no, we need them to understand why we're asking that, because if we're investing money in one marketing channel and another, we need to know, okay, what's the actual return on investment of them? So that's why we're asking, why did they hear about us? So it's very crucial that whatever planning we're doing or action plan, that we need to know why we're doing it and clarify how it's actually going to be done. Because sometimes how we think we're going to be doing something, if we're delegating it, to how somebody else is going to be doing it is different. And the easiest way to do that is by actually getting them to repeat back what your expectations are, or take videos or take photos. That's an easy way. And Zoom is wonderful because you can actually go through something on a computer on Zoom and record it and have them as your training manuals. Just have them in YouTube. Have a YouTube account, have it only visible to your team, and that, put it in folders for training so they know how you actually expect it to be done. So is there an action plan for the different facets of your business or your life that you really want to create a change? So it might be your fitness, it might be your diet, it might be your sales plan, it might be your engagement plan. Maybe your team's not engaged enough. Fabulous. We need to look at how we're going to engage them more and have a plan of how that's actually going to happen. What are we going to implement? What are we going to do differently? So, and the people involved, if you're delegating, need to know, and they need to know why, and there needs to be some kind of accountability around that. So if we've got a plan that is tracking how we're actually going, is it visible? Now, some people say to me, oh, Sue, there's no point in having a detailed business plan. No one ever looks at them. Well, there's no point. You're right if you don't look at it. You need to have your plan visible. It needs to be visible to anyone that's part of the actual success of that plan. So having a detailed business plan will often pull out multiple other things that need to be worked on, and then you might get one-page plans out of that. But whatever planning you're doing, whatever accountability, whatever tracking, you need to have visibility so that everybody involved is reminded of how we're going, how we're going, how we're tracking. I've got IT companies, I've got service companies, I've got retail companies. They are so visible with their tracking that they have a big screen up on the wall, and everyone knows every hour how the team's going. What's our service level like? What's our retention level like? What's our billable hours like? What's our GP per hour like? So having that visibility creates that energy that everybody knows where we're at. Again, back to our Uber, when we're all driving, how many times do we check in and see when are we going to get there? How are we ahead of time or behind time? And has everyone ever got a smartwatch? As soon as they get it, they start to look, oh gosh, My fitness is up now. My steps are up now. Oh, I've achieved my goal. That's because you've got visibility, but you never cared about it before. So getting that visibility means that that picture of success for you is very clear for you and everybody that's involved with it. So having milestones also to measure the goal is going to help you keep motivated. So having those milestones along the way, they're like little tiny energy zappers, because every time, like when you've got your gun and it says, hooray, you've achieved your goal steps today, it gives you a little pump of energy. So I was doing my business planning workshop recently, and there was this lady in there, a lawyer, and she specialised in a particular part of law. She had a goal for the last financial year, and she was beating herself up because she hadn't actually achieved it. And then when we looked at the financials, and I said, okay, let's get the financials out from the last financial year, she hadn't looked at them yet. And when she looked at them, she had this amazing I suppose, wave of emotion. She'd actually achieved her goal. So the milestone that she wanted to achieve, she hadn't checked in on it. She'd actually achieved her goal, and this is like 6 weeks later, and she'd never even looked at it to see. And so that's the thing. If we don't have our milestones predefined and we don't have it visible, how do we know how we're going? How do we know if we've actually achieved success or not? And how do we get that little rush of energy telling us, yes, we're on track, woohoo, we're doing a really good job, yes. Now the other thing as well is, if we have milestones, if we're way off the mark, we can change, we can adjust, and then that way we can constantly be aware of where we're actually up to. So things happen that are totally out of our control, like with myself and with David, and like with what's happened around the world. So by having these visible plans, these visible goals, these visible milestones, we can be open to change and we can adjust. And by having that tracking, and if it's at a cadence that's not too far apart, it means that we're never going to be shocked or unrealistic with where we're going to actually get to, because we've tracked, we've kept our eye on the ball, and we've stayed open to change. So it just means that you're very realistic with what success is as it happens. Now, the funny thing is all the clients that I work with one-on-one, they're all achieving beyond their goals. Well, why is that? Because they're very, very focused on tracking what success is for them. So it's very visible, it's front of mind, they're keeping that cadence of checking in, and so it makes it so much easier to actually achieve what you want to achieve because it's there all the time. So success and celebration. Back to that lady I mentioned, celebrating is really important because it just gives us that sense of belief. And when we talked at the beginning, we talked about mindset. Every time we celebrate, we're affirming to us that what we've done is a big tick, and it's a big rush of endorphins that we've actually achieved what we said we were going to achieve. So celebrating is really important, and putting time aside to celebrate with your team, with your family, when you've achieved goals. People love celebrating other people's success as well. It's so rewarding to celebrate other people's success. Talking about other people's success, listening to other people's goals. Now, the law of reciprocity is very, very, very important. You know, if Zig Ziglar said, back to him again, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Now, if we listen to other people's goals, it gives us the opportunity to help them. We're actually being, we're partnering with making them accountable, and it's just helping them to actually achieve success even more by sharing their goals. And, you know, I many years ago was lucky enough to go to Zappos. It's an amazing company in America. And what they do is they have a goal board where everyone has to write one personal goal. And then when they achieve that goal, they get their photo taken, they sit on the king chair and they ring a bell and they get their photo put up on the board that they've achieved their goal. So what are the goals of the people that you love? What are the goals of the people in your team? Do you know what they are? Do you know if the person that comes to work every day has a goal? And you could probably help them achieve it. And then you're building a connection with them, you're helping them achieve the goal. When was the last time you asked their partner, what's their number one goal for this year? Or one of your team members, what's their goal? If you knew they were trying to save for a house, for a car, run a marathon, go on a trip, you could help them achieve it. So listening to other people's goals and helping other people's goals to be achieved is going to help them and it's going to help you. And you'll get that amazing feeling of making a difference to somebody else's life. All organizations that I know that share personal goals, I mean, quite a few companies actually have a vision board for the year, and everyone has to bring one picture of success for them for that year. So they have their team 2021 or 2022 vision board of one personal goal from everyone. And so when I looked at one, this lady had a dog, someone else had a car, someone else had a picture of their family because they wanted to help their family immigrate from another country. Another one had a house. Someone else was going to do a trek. Now, how awesome is that if you knew all of your team members' personal goals? So how much more invested in the heart are they going to be with your organization? Again, with friends. You know, I have a friend that we catch up every week and talk about goals. We write our goals for the year. And she just gets so excited every time I say, how'd you go with that goal? Because she knows I care, and that's part of the accountability. Back to Zig Ziglar's thing, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So I can't stress enough how important it is for you to know about the people's goals around you, because it will impact your goals beyond what you ever thought. So we've been through a lot. I'm going to give you a bit of a summary of what we've been through, and I really hope you've done some work on you. I really hope you've put off distractions and just written some things down that are going to get you one step closer to where you want to go. So my first key here is have that growth mindset. Make sure, you know, that success attitude is firmly fixed in your mind. Be clear on what success looks like for your life and also for your business. And write down all of the strategies and the goals and the actions that you need to do to actually achieve it. Now, this key, I would say, is, other than attitude, this key is one of the biggest keys that people miss, that I've noticed over the years, is putting time in your calendar to implement. Huge key, huge missing key that a lot of people don't do. They might have a great plan for their business, for their marketing, for their fitness, for their relationship, but the one thing they need is they need time to actually implement it. So putting time in your calendar, if it's building a relationship with one of your team members, put a time once a week to have a one-on-one with them. You know, and I spoke to a young guy that joined a company, and I asked him why, what was so special about this company? And he said, the CEO has a one-on-one with me every single week. And he said that just made all the difference. So he put the time aside. So do you have regular time aside? Do you have me meetings for you to plan what your week's going to look like in your month, and what the vision of success is for you, and tweaking it? And do you have appointments for the people that are really important to implementing different parts of your plan? So whether it's your marketing team, whether it's your sales team, whether it's your financial guy, whether it's your accountant, do you have time aside regularly to check in and to see how the strategy is going, how are we going? Lastly, accountability. I've already mentioned that. Make sure you're held accountable. When business owners say, yeah, I'm going to have a catch up with this person regularly, and they set the appointments, and then they're the one that doesn't turn up, what does that, you know, how does that show? What does that reflect? It reflects that you don't really care enough. So these are my top 6 keys to actually achieving what you want to achieve. And take a screenshot or write some notes. I think it's really important to make sure that every single one of these elements are there. And if they are, your chances of success will just be absolutely compoundingly better off than you are now. My last thing is a little gift to you. Those that know me know that over the years, decade or so of business coaching, I hear of people that so many people want to be millionaires. And I decided one day I wanted to be a millionaire of hearts instead. So, which is why I published my book last year. So my gift to you is, Renee has put in the actual chat, my gift to you is their course, which is the Better Business Blueprint, which is the top 7 documents that entrepreneurs use. So if you feel that your planning in your business could be improved, I've put the top 7 documents that people use, that can use as a gift. Also, I'm more than happy to have a 30-minute strategy session with you on the phone or Zoom, and I would love to hear how you're going with creating your business or your life that really makes you shine, that really makes you get excited to get out of bed, that keeps you motivated and constantly growing. So Renee's put a little link to that, and that's my gift for you. So if I can help another heart to be inspired, to be better than before, I would absolutely love to. Lastly, I would love to have any questions or any takeaways, or if people would like to read my book, send me an email or a message, and I'm happy to send you the link to get a book. So I hope there's been some takeaways. I'd love people to put the number 1 takeaway in the chat that they've taken from today, and then I will know that I've touched one heart. And I hope that you're inspired to be just that little bit more living your potential. Roger said he's like the dashboard. Yes, thank you. Learn before you earn. So I'll get Renee to put it in the chat. The L plates to earning is learning. I love that. Aggie's read my book and she loved it. Thank you very much. Mark says my enthusiasm is infectious. You should see me doing handstands. I will stop sharing. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. Dreams, dream big, dream even bigger. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was 33 and given 5 years to live and 90 kilos, I didn't think I'd be representing Australia. And I didn't think for once I'd be starting a business or writing a book at that stage. So it's amazing what you can achieve when you dream it. Key takeaway, growth mindset. Yes, Carol Dweck's book, which is called, what's it called? It's called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. Highly recommend it. I want to learn to play the piano. Yay. Fantastic. Somebody else said, growth mindset, L plates to earning is learning. Fantastic. If there's any questions, I'll stay in the chat for a couple of minutes. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And I hope you've all downloaded or taken copies of those little templates because they're really helpful. You know, even my kids say, oh, Mum, I'm a bit out of whack. Let's do the wheel of life again and check in where I'm at. Ah, yes, I've forgotten about this part of my life, or I've forgotten about this. Same with the wheel of business. let's do a check-in of where we're at. Well, it's 10 o'clock, so I will let everyone go, and thank you very much, and I'll be here for another minute. If anyone's got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Well done for taking the time to be here.